What's going on, guys? It is Monday. Um, had an exciting weekend, I'm sure. I want to tell you how you can get my brand new EMS Quick Study Guide, the free version of this. It's a physical book. I'll even pay for shipping. But I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. What I want to talk about today is being a critical thinker in EMS. And this can help you not just when you're encountering patients, but also when you are taking your test, right? To think like a critical thinker. So when you're looking at exam questions and you're looking at, um, you know, answers that you're thinking more critically, because when you're doing this, okay, it'll help you have a more clear, rational, logical way of thinking. All right. The easy way to say is critical thinking. It's thinking on purpose, right? But it's also about practicing mindful communication and problem solving. So I want to keep it short today and give you three um, keys, if you will. Okay, three key concepts for you to keep in mind. All right, when you are doing it. So I think by following this, I think you're going to find it's going to help you. And a lot of people out there already think, well, I'm already thinking critically. I'm already thinking through everything, and that's great. But I think, but these three concepts I'm going to talk about today will hopefully maybe bring things in uh, a little clearer for you, and maybe even point things out that maybe you haven't realized that you're doing. Okay, especially if you're new in EMS. Okay, so the first thing is called anchoring. All right. This is sort of that tendency for you to seize on the first symptom you're going to see on a patient, right? Maybe this physical finding you see, maybe something that a medication the patient's on, or a lab result the patient has had, right? And when you do this, you're seizing on this one thing. It's kind of anchoring it in your mind. It anchors your mind onto an answer quickly. This is why it's important to think about this stuff when you're taking exams as well. All right. I'm focusing, this is for critical thinking for anything. I'm kind of trying to use this in a way that you can use it when it comes to medical patient assessment and stuff like that. All right. So when you make snap judgments, they can be correct, right? They might be able to be right because you're thinking about certain things and the anchoring that you have, that first symptom you have in your mind, right? But when you do that, it can also kind of lead you off the path where you need to be. So, for instance, a patient might complain of some vague discomfort, in their chest. And most of the time, it might mean that that is acid reflux. So, of course, as an EMS professional, you know that that's not the only explanation of this sort of sign and symptom, right? So, when it comes to anchoring, don't let your mind get anchored into a diagnosis and not be able to detach and think about other things. Otherwise, that critical thinking, right? Logical, rational, independent thinking, not just using something that your mind is anchored on because of a first symptom or a sign or a finding that you might have. Now, the next key concept I want to talk about is availability. Now, what is that? This is sort of our kind of our tendency to sort of assume that something that we can remember pretty quick because of something that happened in the past is going to explain something new that's happening, right? So we don't want to assume that something we can easily remember from something that would happen to us in the past will apply to a new situation that we're facing. All right. So going back to the chest pain, we see a lot of patients with vague chest pain complaints. All right. And that might also reflect the acid reflux. So for us, the diagnosis of the acid reflux becomes familiar, right? That becomes available to us. right? And that happens a lot in our minds where we grab and we look what's available, what's the available diagnosis for this. Oh, acid reflux is usually vague chest pain complaints, right? So don't get stuck in that again. Think about being a critical thinker, thinking logically, rationally, okay, independently. All right. The third concept, guys, stick with me. I know this is the most exciting stuff here, right? But stick with me. Do me a favor, hit that like button below for me. Hit the little heart button. Let me know that you are engaging with me and you're kind of tracking what I'm saying. The third concept is called attribution, and this is a little similar to available, but this is where we're sort of grabbing onto stereotypes that are in my mind. And then we attribute those symptoms, those findings that we have into that stereotype. Now, getting away from the chest pain, okay, we can talk about something. Maybe it's usually the stuff that when you talk about attribute things, it kind of gears it toward the negative aspect of what's happening. So think about that elderly patient, right? We might see them as someone who's complaining a lot. There might be even like a hypochondriac type thing, right? They're giving us this litany of problems and complaints, and nothing's ever really found, right? So you might see this geriatric patient as being that complainant, being that hypochondriac. So then when they have those persistent symptoms and those persistent complaints, we end up not taking them very seriously, right? So these are ways, guys, they're just three quick little concepts here, but I wanted to kind of just point them out to you because these are the things that you should be thinking about when not just when you're encountering patients, encountering that chest pain patient, for instance, or the elderly patient, but also when you're reading questions on exams, just think critical what the question is answered. Don't jump to what it is that might be that first one, right? Don't anchor your mind into that first sign or symptom, okay? And think that it's chest pain is reflux, okay? Don't make it available in your mind. Don't have that tendency to go what you quickly remember, right? And don't attribute those signs and symptoms to something that you have had in the past, okay? And or attach it to a stereotype, all right? Because that's going to lead you down the wrong path, and you might answer a question prematurely without reading the rest of the answers that might be more about what the question is asking you. Again, just three quick concepts I want to go ahead and throw out there, guys, today. What I want to do, thank you so much for watching this video, of course, but I want to give you this EMS quick study guide, okay? Really, guys, this is a great tool to have when it comes to critical thinking because it's going to give you key elements of your textbook so you can focus on the big picture, all right, before you start to drill down into the deeper thinking process. It's going to help you understand what you don't know so you can focus on the things on those things you don't know, right? You can focus on those elements of EMS to make you better, all right? So you can get it for free. It's part of a little kind of promotion, if you will, a little experiment that I'm doing to see if I can get enough people to grab this book. I will pay the shipping on it even. All you have to do is go to freeemsbook.com, and there's a video there explaining to you more about the book and why I'm giving it away and how you can grab a copy of it. So go check it out. Again, at freeemsbook.com. All right, guys, I'm going to end it there, going about 10 minutes. That's usually my breakaway point. Thanks for watching and listening to me today on this crazy little Monday we're dealing with today. Again, do me a favor real quick. Before you leave, hit the like button below, hit the little heart button, the squeezy heart button, whatever it is. Let me know that you're engaged and you're with me when I'm doing these videos. Guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. As always, I'm Jim Hoffman. Stay safe.